President Trump holding a phone call with Russia's President Vladimir Putin about the war in Ukraine. Jamil Jaffer is the founder of the National Security Institute, and he joins us now. Jamil, what do you think Trump is saying right now in his call with Putin?
Well, actually, I think the president is trying to figure out how to get Putin to agree to the ceasefire deal that Ukraine agreed to last week in Saudi Arabia. What do we need to do to make this deal happen and stop the guns from firing there in Ukraine?
So what would satisfy Vladimir Putin? Russia began this unprovoked attack. What does Putin really want to be able to walk away?
Well, look, I think he wants to keep some of the territory, the 20% of Ukraine that he's taken. He wants Ukraine and Ukrainian soldiers out of Kursk in Russia, where they made an incursion. And he wants to ensure that he doesn't have British and French troops on his border there in Ukraine. All of these things are hard for him to achieve. President Trump's going to have to see what he can give Putin to at least get to a ceasefire, and then what long-term negotiations look like as well.
All right, we'll move on. Jamil, Israel launching a wave of airstrikes on Hamas targets overnight. Netanyahu says he ordered the attacks after talks to extend the ceasefire had stalled. Do you think a permanent ceasefire can ever be achieved? Because the goal, of course, is to wipe out Hamas. And, you know, what are the likelihood that that can be achieved?
Well, look, obviously Hamas has been taken down a significant notch, but you see every time these hostages are released, you see tons of fighters around carrying weapons. We know that they remain a threat. At the same time, Israel really needs to get those hostages out. There are about 59 hostages left. We believe about half of them are dead. So that's still 30 more or so hostages to get back that Israel needs back. They're now demanding half back. Hamas not willing to do that. They offered, as of last Friday, one living American-Israeli hostage and 4 bodies. We'll see if that at least starts the ball again down the road. But as of right now, Israel trying to increase the pressure on Hamas to get to a deal, get those hostages back.
How is this playing out in Iran? You know, they have all these proxies, Hezbollah and the Houthis, and, of course, supporting Hamas. I mean, what's going on in Tehran right now?
Well, they've got to be worried because President Trump has made clear that he's not going to stand for this. He's going to allow the Israelis to go after Hamas. He's now directly going after the Houthis. So the question becomes for Iran, can they continue to sustain these operations? Hezbollah has been taken down by significant measure. Their leader killed by Israel, those pager and walkie-talkie attacks. So there's significant pressure on Iranian proxies. President Trump also, though, is talking about trying to do a deal with Iran on the nuclear program, a more verifiable deal, so he says, than the deal that President Obama cut. We'll see what happens with that as well.
Yeah, do you think Iran is open to that? Can something be sorted out?
Look, it's hard to find a deal that Iran's really going to abide by. They never have abided by any of the deals they've ever gotten into. They're constantly supported terrorism. At the end of the day, it has to not just be a nuclear deal. It has to be a deal about also them no longer supporting all these proxy terror groups. Otherwise, we're just back at the same thing over and over again.
I want to get back to Hamas quickly, Jamil. The goal, as we know, is to eliminate them. Is that really feasible? I want to get back to that issue.
Well, you know, look, you can certainly take down its fighting capacity. Can you eliminate the movement, the idea behind Hamas? Probably not. At the end of the day, that's going to require some sort of a settlement between Israel and the Palestinians. That is a long way away after what happened on October 7th and all those people that were killed and those babies that were killed and those young women that were raped. It's going to be hard to imagine what that solution looks like. But at the end of the day, if you're going to try and take the terrorism out of this region, the only way to do that is to find a stable deal where people live side by side in peace. That's a very hard thing to achieve, given where things are at today.
Yeah, well, we'll continue to follow the developments for sure. Jamil, Jaffer, great stuff as always. Thank you so much for chatting with us today. Thank you.